What can I say? I have two businesses, Bow Rage Yarns and Design and Black Mountain Artisans. And I'll talk a little bit about both of them. Bow Rage, basically all the things I produce go under that label. So I create hand spun yarn. I also have mill spun yarn that is milled in Yolo County. I have, under the name of Bow Rage Yarns, hand dyed, etc. And then I have a lot of knit garments that go under Bow Rage Yarns. Basically, everything I create goes under Bow Rage Yarns. So that's one part of the business. The other part of the business, Black Mountain Artisans, Bonnie talked a little bit about that already, came out of Black Mountain Artisans, has been ongoing for about 35 years, if not longer. It started, Bonnie was one of the founding members, I think. It started as a cooperative of local weavers in Point Reyes Station. And at some point, I mean, I joined probably about 25 years ago when it was still Black Mountain Weavers. And then it sort of petered out a little bit, or very few members left and everything. So I took over, had to recreate it. made it Black Mountain Artisans, but I'm running it as a co-op, the way it used to be as Black Mountain Weavers. So they're all local people. We have active members and inactive members. Active members sit in the store, they get a higher percentage. They are very much part of the enterprise, so to speak. And it works very well. We have, currently there are about 7 active members. Most of them are from Bolinas, which is where I live. And I don't know whether this is because I live here and I know everyone, or whether it is they're just more fiber people in Bolinas than we have 1 member from Inverness, 1 member from Napa Valley, which is the furthest away. And then that's it. The rest is from Bolinas. So the store is working with this COVID pandemic. We were closed from March 15 until October. We had fires as well, and then the town was closed. So this has been a very difficult year for us, but we're still there. And people are very pleased that we're still there. They come in and say, "Oh my God, you're still here. It's fantastic." It's quite nice to have a local community of makers, basically, and to be able to highlight their work and to be able to sell their work. Most of the work I do, not most, I think about 50-50, is work that comes from local sheep. So I know most of the farmers, most of the people that have sheep, I should say, around my area. There are 2 farmers, they're not really farmers, but they have 4 to 6 sheep. And so I get most of their fleeces. And that's right here in Bolinas. Then there is the alpaca farm in Nicasio, which is just north of Point Reyes, where I get probably all of my alpaca. Then I spend a lot of time at one farm, which is Mimi Luberman's farm in West Petaluma. She has 2 flocks of sheep. And I get actually most of my fleeces from there. And what I do, I process about 6 fleeces a year. And that's a lot for me. The other fleeces that I get are going to YOLO and they get processed into roving or into yarn. But I myself go through the fleeces, and I process about 6. And the reason why I do that is because, and I choose the fleeces because of that. There's some fleeces that have tiny, tiny little curls. And then some that have very wide, big, large, luster curls. So I separate all of those and I process those so I can use them as curls and work them into my garments. And work it that way. So I have a variety of things. The store, Black Mountain Artisans, has 4 spinners in the group. So 4 people that provide us with hand-spun yarn. I think about 75% of the yarn I sell is hand-spun. So and all of it is close by. It's done here in West Marin. Most of it is done in West Marin. We have 3 knitters. Then we have 2 weavers, I think. And many people do multiple things. There are knitters as well as weavers, as well as dyers, as well as spinners. So it's a small store. It's perfect though. There are many goods in the store. People come back. We get an enormous amount of tourism in Point Reyes Station. We're an hour north of San Francisco. And so during the weekends, just lately, it's unbelievable how many people come to Point Reyes. And they're all curious, so they all come in. So the carpet is totally barren by now. You can see the pattern where people walk. So it's good. What else can I tell you? I've been knitting and spinning forever and ever. I'm old and I started very young. So it's amazing to me that I'm still doing it and that I'm still passionate about it, actually. I think once you work with fiber, it just gets into your bones. So the other thing I do is I teach quite a lot of classes. I collaborate with Mimi Luberman. All the classes are held at her farm. And we even have had classes during COVID, because her farm is big and we can truly spread out. The tables are all far away from each other, more than 8 feet, and we're able to do it that way. And so we usually teach in the spring, when the sheep are sheared. We have a series of classes that goes from shearing the sheep all the way to final garment. There are about 5 different classes where we take you through the scouring process, through the prepping process, and then how to create a garment, what the measurements are and all of that. And then we ended with a fashion show of what people have done. And then in the fall area of the year, we have classes that are for beginning spinners to get people up to speed, because the people that take the spring class from sheep to final product, they have to be able to know how to spin in order to create your garment. So that sort of fills most of my days, as you can well imagine.
It sounds so fascinating, and I definitely want to hear more, and we will at a future date. Yes. What I would like to know is, how do people connect with you? What is your website? How do we find that? I'll also include that on the slides so that people can have them. But how do we find you, and how do we learn about your classes when you offer them next? And how do we support you?
Yeah. Come to my store. Come and visit. There are many walks in Point Reyes. The big park is there, so they're major, and the ocean is there. But anyway, so you can reach me. Go to my website, which is borageyarns.com. I have an active Instagram account, which is Black Mount Weavers. And I have help with that. Somebody else is doing it for me, thank God. She knows what she's doing. I do not have anything else except bma@sonic.net, which is my email address. And the store is in Centrum. There's only one street in Point Reyes, one major street. We're right opposite of the post office. We're right there, 11245 Main Street or Highway 1, but that doesn't mean anything. It's a very small town, so it's easy to find. And they have a great bakery. Most people line up to the bakery and then walk by all the stores and come to our store. So
come to Point Reyes, check out the shop, yes, and fondle some lovelies, get some good eat, make a day or a weekend of it.
That's what most
Hi, and welcome to Integrity Alpacas and Fiber. It all started when a friend invited me to shearing, and I just wanted to learn what it was all about, and I was hooked. So we sold our house in the city, and we bought a ranch. And the ranch took a lot of work to build it, to prepare it for our alpacas. Once they were able to come home, we started having babies because that's what you do. And with more babies and more babies, our first loss was Suzanne, and she died from West Nile. It was a tragic, tragic loss. Back to the health and welfare of the alpacas. Summertime heat is their biggest worry, so we do everything we can to keep them cooled off with the sprinklers. In the fall, they love the mulberry leaves, and so as those drop, I let them out to play and pick them up. Sadly, the fall has also brought us numerous years of fire, and this does affect their health. It's not good for the alpacas, and it's stressful. But we continue to have babies, and we continue to bring the alpacas to their favorite things to eat, which is cleaning up the mulberry leaves. Here we are in the backyard, picking them up and taking care of things. Alpacas are very curious animals, and here you can see Miss Clairol has gotten into something again. Who knows what? She's always into it. And boys, as they age, as mine have, they require additional health needs, and that is to check their fighting teeth and remove them as necessary. And scooping poop. Alpacas can create about 1 pound of poop a day per alpaca, which is fantastic, fertilizing and manure to use in other places. However, they are communal poopers, and in order to keep our parasites under check, we do scoop our poop frequently because we cannot let it pile up. Last spring, using that poop, we started to investigate our soil a little more closely to see exactly what's happening and exactly how I can help to sequester carbon, first of all, and also to help our soil to become healthier so that it does drain and the water just still sits on top. It's just a dishpan, basically. And shearing happens. And I'm happy to say that this year, Integrity Alpacas and Fiber is finally acquired the genetics and the production line that we are seeking to produce fine white fiber with great character. And look at that brightness. Brightness is huge. It translates to the end product, and it makes it amazingly beautiful.
Look at your...
So here we have another challenge is with the babies. They aren't always perfect. And this little girl happens to be one that was born early and at only 10 pounds. You can see she's very, very weak. It was at least one day before she was able to stand and walk and to nurse. Usually alpacas are doing that within the first couple hours of their life. But here she is, little bit, at 23 pounds and about 6.5 weeks of age. She's doing great. It took a lot of work, but we've got it. So we do what we can to make our alpacas happy at every moment, because a happy alpaca is going to produce a happy fiber. Where I let all the alpaca girls out into our front yard, where there's green grass and lots of mulberry trees and a ton of leaves. You can see a little bit right here in front is getting into the action, and we have got some very, very happy alpacas. Hopefully by the time to meet the makers, I will have this blend of Sally Fox Merino with Rockstar Alpaca using the Weld and the Hollyhock that I was able to purchase from Meridian Jacobs right down the road to create a fantastic item. I don't know what it'll look like yet, but keep tuned and you'll see it at the Meet the Makers. And with that, thank you.
farol do nosso dever, livrai-nos do mal karma, ensina-nos a viver. Doce nome de Jesus, doce nome de Maria, enviai-nos vossa paz, vossa luz e alegria. Estrela azul do farol do nosso dever, livrai-nos do mal karma, ensina-nos a viver. Doce nome de Jesus, doce nome de Maria, enviai-nos vossa paz, vossa luz e alegria. Estrela azul do farol do nosso dever, livrai-nos do mal karma, ensina-nos a viver. Doce nome de Jesus, doce nome de Maria, enviai-nos vossa paz, vossa luz e alegria. Estrela azul do farol do nosso dever, livrai-nos do mal karma, ensina-nos a viver. Doce nome de Jesus, doce nome de Maria, enviai-nos vossa paz, vossa luz e alegria. Estrela azul do farol do nosso dever, livrai-nos do mal karma, ensina-nos a viver.
So I started Summer Solace Tallow in 2014. I was a former chef turned skincare maker, went to vegetarian cooking school, cooked in various vegetarian kitchens, and then I became familiar with traditional diets. I started working with animal fats, cooking with them, and I could also feel how nice they were on my skin. I wanted to create a skincare line that was beneficial for the whole family. It's just like cooking. You put your heart into it and you get to put creativity into it. You know, if you want to do something well, you do it yourself and you do it by hand. Hello Fibershed friends, this is Megan Camp with Summer Solace Tallow, and we're here in North Oakland, California at our live workspace for Summer Solace, and I'll give you a little tour. So we live in a converted storefront, and I'll show you. This is my studio here, where I do all of my packaging. Just did some holiday orders. And this is my little studio where I keep inventory
Everything is covered in organic linen and packaged and hi. And all of that. So tons of good energy in here. And then I'll give you a sneak peek. Here is my little drying rack and storage for soaps and some tallow balms. Here I've got some wrapped soap for orders and for the farmer's market. We've got an upstairs studio for my husband, also a music studio, and the kids' room. Uli, you want to say hi?
Hi.
And then of course our lovely kitchen where I do production and cook for the family. So thank you for joining me. I hope to see you all sometime at the next Wool Symposium. And in the meantime, please feel free to use the discount code Meet the Makers for 20% off on our online shop, www.summersolacetallow.com. Thank you so much. Be well, happy holidays, and keep in touch. Bye.
Hi, I'm Bonnie Chase. I'm founder of Warner Mountain Weavers. My yarn name is Deep Creek Yarns, and I live in Cedarville, California, which is up in the northeast corner of the state next to Oregon, Nevada in the Sagebrush Triangle, and we're high desert. I'm always really inspired by working with the animals, the sheep. I go to the shearings, and it's always just the camaraderie of all of the Peruvian sheep herders and the shearers of working together to harvest thousands and thousands of pounds of wool that you grab a warm fleece and take it over to the sorting table. And I've raised sheep since the 70s, so I'm used to doing that, and I just love it. And I think of what all can be made with all of these gorgeous, beautiful fleeces and sorting them by color. And I actually enjoy washing fleeces, and sometimes you can't tell if it's a white fleece or a tan fleece until you wash it, and laying it out to dry in the sun, and which leads to natural dyeing. And so I'm kind of obsessed with wool.
I think we all are obsessed by
Yes, yes. And I don't have a different, it's my total, everything I think about is what I can make with this, whether it's weaving rugs or knitting. In the evenings in my downtime, I knit at home. I don't really have time in the shop to knit because I'm helping customers and doing all kinds of other things. So that's my downtime, is knitting in the evenings. I also enjoy gardening a lot. I grow a dye garden as well as a vegetable garden. And then around the ranch, we have a ranch that's 100 acres. So there's always stuff to do there, like chopping firewood or cleaning out the fields. So I'm very involved with agriculture, even though at this point in my life, I don't personally own any sheep. I'm still very involved. We're a hay ranch, so we grow the food to feed animals. Well, we live in the Surprise Valley. Lonnie lives, her sheep are at the south end of the valley at the state line, and I'm in downtown Cedarville with population about 600. And it's a farming, ranching community. And we bought the old Masonic Lodge in 1998, and it's 2 stories. So I have a lot of space. All of this is downstairs, and then upstairs is a working area with skein winders and all of our housewares. The rugs are all upstairs. Lonnie's Lana fabric. We have giant bolts of fabric and we actually cut and sell fabric by the yard. And downstairs, I'm a full-fledged yarn store with a good supply of needles, and I have all kinds of yarn. But my favorite, of course, is the local natural dyed yarns that we produce here in the Valley. And people come in and they want the local yarns. So we're unique in a yarn store in that we have not only yarns, we have finished products for sale. Well, Black Mountain Artisans is like that too.
Yeah.
So we have a little something for everyone.
Nice, nice.
So I see that you have a beautiful rug right beside you on your loom. Could you tell us a little bit about the rug, the process, and also the dyeing of it? And I know there's a lot.
This rug
Gorgeous
is made
yarn.
out of local Navajo churro, which I helped shear the sheep and wash the wool. And I sent it out to be spun into yarn down to Taos. And it's natural dyed with wild sunflowers, black-eyed Susans, coreopsis. This black is the natural color of the sheep. This is curly dock. And then the rug I'm currently weaving on. Let me run my shuttle through. This is the natural color brown of the churro, this color.
Weaving a specific design or doing a plain weave or combination depending on the rug? How do you decide that?
It's plain weave and I'm covering the warp. The warp is not showing, it's the structure. And this is a temple to keep the edges from drawing in, which is a constant thing with all rug weavers. And I'm doing a pattern. That. And it's
Wow.
made from this orange is the madder that we grow out and back. And this is black-eyed Susans. And this is black walnut. And this is the natural gray. And this tan is walnut bark. Actually, pieces of bark that I soaked most of the summer and got this really nice golden brown color.
That is absolutely beautiful. Now, the question that we all want to know is, when you finished with it, is it going to show up on Fibershed Marketplace?
Yes, yes. This one is one of the featured one-of-a-kind things, just special to the marketplace. It's
I love it.
out with the lambing.
Right?
The lambs are so cute, and one of my favorite jobs is paint branding the little lambs.
And what does that mean?
That means it gives them a return address, because when they range out in the Great Basin, they can be mixed up with other sheep. So if they're paint branded, you know that they belong to the Bear Ranch.
Okay. And are they also connected to their mother, or is it just the ranch like code that goes on to them?
It's just the ranch. The color is, they have a different color each year. So sometimes in paint branding, I have red paint on me. Sometimes I have green, and it eventually washes out. And that also shows the age of the animal. So, and I also weave a lot of scarves. Is this coming into view?
Yes.
This scarf is natural dyed with woad, which is a noxious weed in our county. It's in the indigo family. It's an indigen. And I go out and collect the first year plants, and you can use an indigo recipe to dye woad, but it takes a lot more. It takes 7 times more plant material than it does indigo. But since it's a noxious weed, I love to go out and collect woad. And then the lavender in here, can you see it that close, is rock lichen. So the Great Basin east of us has lots of the certain kind of lichen that produces this purple lavender color. Lichens on rocks, the umbellica.
Oh,
and
yes.
So you scrape the lichens off of the rocks and ferment them for several months, and then it makes a beautiful purple lavender dye.
That's so fascinating.
And then this scarf is made from Lonnie's Lana Natural Colored. The fringe is silver and black, and then it also is woad, and it's a twill pattern with stripes of twill and stripes of plain weave.
And it looks like the darker one, it was the plain weave.
Yes.
Okay.
You can see the twill stripes,
mm-hmm.
and then the darker ones are plain weave. Yes. And then this scarf I just finished is made with Lonnie's Lana wool, and it's natural dyed with rabbit brush, madder root, sage, and curly dock roots, where you go out and dig the roots and then make a natural dye out of the roots. And this cowl is natural dyed, this brilliant green color, and it's dyed with wolf moss that grows on the pine trees in the Warner Mountains. So I go out and collect the moss and cook it, and it doesn't need a mordant because it's already has tannin in it, and it makes this brilliant chartreuse color.
So the question that I have about that is how
my personal website is warnermountainweavers.com, and I have lots of things on the website, more so than Fibershed things. I have all kinds of things, and I do a newsletter, so people can sign up for my newsletter on the website. And wool gathering, a 4-day event where we teach natural dyeing, spinning, weaving, felting. But this year would have been our 20th annual, and we did cancel because of COVID, but hopefully we'll be back next year. And that's always well attended and lots of fun. And people camp out in the backyard or stay at different bed and breakfasts.
I know that the wool gathering has been on my bucket list of events to attend, and it's still on my list.
Well, we'd love to have you, and maybe you could even teach a class or something.
I think I would just want to come and enjoy everybody else.
Yeah. And Fibershed, a blog just came out about the shop on November 19th, written by Sarah Lilligard. So if you want to find more about my history, more about the store, go to the Fibershed website blog, and it will say Warner Mountain Weavers, a gathering place, I think is the name of it. So that goes into detail about the shop.
And we will also link that in the notes and also on here so that.
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
We'll link your website and just all these good connections. That's what we're here to do. We're here to support each other, connect with each other, and just further this fiber community. And have fun while we're at it and create.
Yeah. Warner Mountain Weavers, home of Deep Creek Yarns, and we're also the High Desert Fibershed. We seem to be a destination, and that we get people coming from Reno. There's Mount Shasta girls will come. There's people come from Lakeview. So I'm the largest yarn store in the North State. So we are a destination, which makes me feel really good after so many years in the business.
And I know we can find out all about that when we go and read the article, which we will do. But if you wouldn't mind, let me know how you got started and how long you've been in business.
Yes, I've been weaving, spinning, and natural dyeing since the 70s. I raised sheep, raised colored sheep, and so I've done the whole process. And in the 80s, I was a member of Black Mountain Weavers, which is where I met Marley. So we've been friends for years. And I was there for 16 years in Black Mountain Weavers. So we're kind of like sister stores.
I love it. Yes. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for your time and doing this for us.